I don't get it. Things don't be fair. Things don't be equal. Things don't be fair. Things don't be equal. It should be on both sides. If you unalive, I don't care what kind of problem you have. I don't care what kind of issue y'all have. I don't care what somebody said to you. I don't care what kind of problem you have. You don't take somebody's life, whatever the skin color is. Either side would have been wrong. But BLM, nobody has stood up. Nobody said nothing.
Well, of course not.
Nobody said nothing.
That goes against their the whole thing that they so-called say they fighting for, because all lives don't matter with them. It's only Black lives matter with them.
Only.
Please.
Only Black lives. So you saw this, right? You saw
to a fist fight, and it wasn't even a fist fight. It was alleged that he got shoved, and it was previous, alleged to say that they've had, I guess some previous encounters prior to this situation. They've had some run-ins in the past. So yeah. So
today he got out. Not only did he get released from jail on bond, the judge, I saw they're gonna show a picture of her, and I think down in this post, she lowered the bond from $1 million to $250,000.
If you don't know, I don't know if everyone has been following this story. Is major now. So hope you probably have heard something about it, where these two young men at a track meet, one pulled the other. They were having some words, some things were exchanged, and then it ended up where Carmelo Anthony, which is the black male here, stabbed the white student, male, at a track meet.
And so now the boy had $1 million. His bond was $1 million. They lowered it to $250,000. And I think that means what, 10% of that to get you out, to get you out of the jail cell.
Right.
The family raised. So this was on the 14th, but I'm going to show you another clip. The family raised almost $500,000. So actually, they raised $500,000. They did raise $500,000 for this boy. The boy who was unalived, family only raised close to $400,000. And Officer Tatum asks, "Why does society reward bad behavior?" I see that in this clip. It does, and it's insane.
And they tried to make this a racial thing, and that's why I think it blew up so much. Is because it was. They're trying to turn it into a race type vibe, and I just, it shouldn't even be that.
Yeah, I mean, because this is just him coming out.
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't be that. Look, and I just don't understand.
We're up.
Yeah. So the boy free. He got out. Ooh.
Did she get pushed? What happened?
Somebody done fell, knocked over, pushed back.
At school. Explain your self-defense. How is this self-defense?
Explain. Explain. This just should have never happened. This just should have never happened. I don't care what you say. This should have never happened. This was at a track meet. The incident happened at a track meet. No one brings weapons to track meets. Who does that? And you don't even be thinking about that.
And I'm going to go down. So I was looking. I'm going to play this.
It's just sad.
I'm going to play this.
Now, guys, I'm going to be real with y'all. White people deserve some credit today. Because why in the hell is Carmelo Anthony, that 17-year-old murderer, walking around the streets of Texas a free man? How is that even possible? This is an animal who killed a 17-year-old boy over a damn book bag, and right now in the state of Texas, he is a free man. Not only is he a free man, he is a man who is a lot more wealthier today than he was when he went into the jail cell.
That's
because
insane.
the social justice warriors and BLM domestic terrorists have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars in his name, because apparently murder is excusable just because he looks like us. Yeah, that's a damn shame. It's disgusting. Now imagine if the rules were reversed. Imagine if Carmelo Anthony was a white man.
It would have been
actually,
everywhere.
It would have been
crazy.
A police officer. And all of a sudden,
it would have been crazy.
His bail was reduced heavily, and he was just allowed to walk out of jail scot-free.
It'd have been crazy.
Oh, America would be burning to the ground
Yep.
right now. And that's not me speculating. I know this to be true because it happened just a few years ago. When the BLM thugs didn't get their way, they set America on fire.
Is that Kyle Rittenhouse?
Exactly what happened. But you won't see that happen in this case.
Man, and then people keep showing back to Kyle Rittenhouse, man. That was a whole different situation and a whole different era of time. This was just a one-on-one kind of thing. So I'm just seeing what they have on here. Kyle Rittenhouse shot rioters to save his life. He had a $2 million bond that didn't get reduced. 86 days in pretrial detention. Karmelo bought a knife to a track meet. Got insulted. Unalived someone. Bond is $200K. 12 days in pretrial jail. Buys a new house.
I don't even know who Kyle Rittenhouse. I have to go look that up. I don't
remember that boy who it was the BLM riots were going on. He shot the dude. He had the AK out there.
Okay.
Yeah. And people hated him. BLM and black people in general hated him. Because they were racist. And you remember that event? You remember that? It was during the BLM riots.
Vaguely. I'll have to go and check it out.
Because I remember he was walking with that riot. I see the comment on what they're trying to say, but he had that on him during the riots. And a lot of people had on their arm during the riots because at that point, man, when people start rioting, especially my people, they start rioting, it's just going to be just for the hell of it. And whoever get attacked and beat up in cars and whatever, it just care less. It's just a bunch of rage at the moment. And so people do protect themselves, but I don't know why he was out there with the gun. I know they had ran up on him.
That's like the guy bringing a knife, like the boy bringing a knife to a track meet. Why you need a rifle at a why even be there?
I want to hear some others.
The way that this story is unfolding really has me uneasy. For the simple fact that I feel like there's some sort of concerted effort or even an agenda to create real racial tension.
Yeah, it is.
That's just how I feel about it. I feel like this is basically the inciting of a race war because ain't no damn way. Now, for those y'all who didn't know, Karmelo over here, the suspect, has officially been released on bond for $25,000. The bond was originally set for $1 million. Then, thanks to activist judge over here, it was decreased to $250,000.
That's how you know it's over. Drop that low.
You only have to pay 10%, so there goes your $25,000. And that basically means he gets to wait at home in the comfort and the luxuries of whatever his home life is like,
brand new home,
to being locked up somewhere waiting on his trial. Now, do I think that this was a correct verdict? In my honest opinion, no. Because he proved himself to be a threat, to be somebody who is dangerous. That was the nature of this crime. It's as simple as that. You know, oftentimes they won't let you out on bond if they think you're going to escape or be a hazard to somebody else. In this situation, he could be a hazard to somebody else. However, the worst part for me was the fact that this activist judge has now been placed on this case. Right? And this is somebody who was quoted as saying things such as this.
Now when we can have, summer interns come up and they are every race, creed, color, gender, but they can see someone that looks like them on the bench. I think that is so beneficial because it's representation. And when they look at me, young kids, law students, whoever it is, I want them to say, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Now, most of the situations, that sort of message would not matter. However, in the context of this case right here, that shows us everything we need to know about the sort of trial we're about to see in front of us. Folks, there is already a bias built into this thing.
It is.
And I am deeply afraid that this is going to end up in the way that I'm already projecting out. I really hope that there is just a jury of peers who are going to be honest and fair, as well as evidence presented, and that's it, right? More specifically, the evidence that will speak for itself. Because we already know that this judge basically she's sold on what she believes in and who she stands with. The way that
My guess is they're gonna release, drop all charges, and he's gonna go scot free. 500,000 bank account would have done that damage, and then
I don't think
life goes on.
all charges are going to be dropped, but I'm just really curious to see how this is going to pan out, because I was hoping they didn't say she was going to be the one that was going to oversee his case. I really didn't.
Look at this, please. And please.
My thing is, can't judges be removed from certain cases?
Like if they find to be biased, or
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you would have to prove that. To me, it was obvious. Right
really
is right and wrong is wrong. And that situation right there was wrong. I don't care what you say. He did not need to meet that level of force with the brother, the Metcalf brothers. Let's just say it was one at the time, because there's certain things that's floating around out here.
Mm-hmm. I heard multiple things.
But the person that initially he had was Austin. I think that's the one, his name. And it just, if you got pushed, you don't need to why would you bring out a weapon?
Yeah.
Why would you bring out a weapon? If you're not in the right tent, then you need to move. If you were invited by your friend, your friend.
It's premeditated.
If your friend in there, then pull out.
You plan on doing that.
Pull out. And one of the stories said, well, you go and sit under other people's tents all the time. No, you don't. I went to track meets when I was in school.
No, you don't.
If my friend was not out there running, I am not sitting under your school's track meet. I would be way back up there with the bleachers, until you finish, because
you're not invited.
I don't have it. And then under the tent. Now you would sit away from the tent back up in the bleachers if someone's invited you there. But if your friend is not under the tent, or one of your friends is not on in the track meet, then you're not over there unless you got a boyfriend or girlfriend on the track running on the track team, or another educator has invited you over. But that's bull crap. That's not how it went down.
No.
Oh yeah, they do all the time. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
You may sit behind them, but not under their team's tent. So that was no.
All that was planned. He planned on going over to do that.
Yes, he got offended because they asked him to leave, and then they could have had a little shoulder bump push, off altercation.
It's floating around that they had already had some issues.
Right,
that.
But even I'm saying right there in that moment, let's just say they kind of got a little physical push. I don't even know if any punches were flying. I didn't hear that, but they got a little rough with each other. So okay. Just leave, pull out. Okay, cool, man. You right. This ain't my tent. This ain't my school. Blah, blah, blah. But he didn't want to do that because his pride was hurt. His pride was damaged. Why else would he incite, provoke? So, no, he shouldn't be free. It should have never happened. He should have never been over there.
I'm top. And nevertheless, not only should it never happen, I don't care black boy or white boy.
It doesn't matter.
I don't care what.
Two students.
Because
Two students.
Not only should it never happen, you don't get to just walk out rich. Basically, you walked out wealthy. Two
students. It doesn't matter the race. It was two students having an altercation, a disagreement that got aggressive, that took on more aggression than necessary, and one student got even more aggressive.
Yeah.
Forget about the color. It's two students. And now two lives have been changed forever, because he's not going to be able to have no peace.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to have no peace. Look at all this that's come out with that. But what does this teach him? See, this is the thing.
And he can never go back into schools again. What grade was he in, Joy?
He was 17, so he may have been a junior junior, senior.
Yeah.
Depends on the age, birthday, all that kind of stuff.
Finish school at home.
But it's completely unacceptable. Where is the lesson that he's going to learn? Because if he continues to grow, and he, until this trial situation is, how is he going to learn the consequence for his behavior? And I still feel like there was some type of remorse on his behalf, because he asked if the guy was okay. So he allowed his emotions, and that's the thing. He allowed his emotions at that moment to take over.
That rage spirit.
And that is the problem with the young people today. They get so angry and don't think, and it changes their lives and somebody else's life forever. But I still pray for him, and I pray for the other student's family, that there will be some peace in the situation.
Listen, I just think about
what I see. Karmelo will learn a valuable lesson.
Now, if it would have been other way around, you'd have Al Sharpton, everybody marching.
Child. Yes. Yes.
Bobblehead would have been out.
No.
All right.
All right, great people. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you. We really do. Smash that like button, and we'll see you on the next video.
All right.